Hey everybody, Shane here, Shoebox Legends, and I am back. It has been an extended absence here on the channel, over 3 weeks, coming up on a month even, since I posted my last video here. The longest by far that I have ever gone between videos since I began this channel, all the way back early in 2021. There's a lot that I could talk about here. Long story short, I had a couple of very serious health scares over the course of the last few weeks. Don't be concerned, everything is okay. Looks like the end result is going to be good, and I should be back to normal here shortly. But those kind of did cause me to take a pause, step away for a little bit. Obviously, there are things in life that are much more important than baseball cards and even YouTube, and so had to put those first. And to be honest, it was a decent time for me to take a break as well. Posting, well over 1,000 videos in the first 4 years of this channel. And I kind of reached a point where I just needed to pause, take a rest. But that being said, I did continue to participate in the hobby as always during my time away. And I did make a couple of appearances on YouTube during that time as well, even though they weren't on this channel. And I wanted to look at a couple of the cards that I used during those appearances because I want to show them here on my own channel also. And we'll start with this beauty. I appeared with my good buddy Brent on our latest episode of Ball Card Banter a while back. And during that, I showed off this beautiful 1953 Bowman color Owl Flip Rosen. And I picked this one up, first and foremost, I've really been digging the 53 Bowman set over the course of 2025 here. I've added quite a few new cards. And then this one also doubles as a Warlord card for my Warlord collection. He led the majors in war in 1953, and I love this pose here in the old Yankee Stadium, leaning on his bat. Just a classic looking baseball card. In fact, I prefer this to his 1953 Topps release. So when I did get in the market here for a 53 Al Rosen for that Warlords collection, this is the one that I wanted to go with. And I got this beautiful PSA 6, gorgeous condition, and it was really affordable. Because not a lot of people collect this guy because he's quote-unquote not a Hall of Famer. But I love this card and really happy to have that year represented in my Warlords collection. And then just maybe a week or so ago now, did a great collab with my good buddy Dylan over at Double D Vintage Baseball Cards. And I was joined by Adam from Vintage Sanctuary and Dean from Goodman and West 238th. Had a blast hanging out with those guys, talking cards. And that episode really rejuvenated kind of my motivation here for the hobby. During that one, I showed this card, which I've actually never shown before here on YouTube, my MJ Rookie, and told the story of how back in the day, I think right before I started this channel, quite honestly, maybe only weeks before, sold about 3 dozen low-level or smaller graded cards and rolled all those funds into this one Michael Jordan card. I'm really not a basketball card collector, but at the time I was trying to identify kind of the most iconic card from each of the major sports and determine whether I could add it to my collection. And for me, in terms of basketball, it is a no-brainer. The 86 Fleer Michael Jordan is, and forever will be, the most iconic basketball card. And I'm really honored to own this beautiful PSA 4. Pretty sharp corners. This is one that presents, as I usually try to aim for, presents way better than the actual assigned grade. In fact, I mentioned this on Dylan's channel, but this came with the old PWCC exceptional sticker and corresponding cardboard insert here, indicating that it is in the top 15%, I guess, of eye appeal for this grade. And it's got the little sticker on the back here. So definitely my best basketball card. Basketball, not a collection that I'm looking to really expand on too much. Just too many other interests in the realms of baseball and hockey, but I am really grateful to have that MJ, and that will likely make my next iteration of my top 100 cards countdown, which I am planning to do towards the end of this year. With those out of the way, wanted to take a look at a couple packages that have come in here. The first is from my good buddy Austin, who is known as the Cowser Collector, as well as many other things in the history of his time on YouTube. He's become a great friend. We text just about every day. He lives down in Texas, and I recently sent him a card that he had expressed some interest in that I had listed on eBay, so I just took it down, sent it his way because he's my buddy, and in return, he sent me a very fitting Colton Cowser Topps Black from 2025. This is the Rookie Cup card, and Austin knows that I am a collector of Topps Black in particular. Love this parallel. Arguably my favorite modern parallel, right up there with Independence Day. And so to get the Colton Cowser Rookie Cup in a Topps Black from the man who has the best Colton Cowser collection that I know of is really special. And so this one is going to go into my PC alongside all of my other various Topps Blacks from across the years. So really appreciate that and your friendship, Austin. And then because he's such a great guy, he included a whole batch here of Ivan Rodriguez cards. We've had some discussions about how he may be the greatest Texas Ranger of all time. Would certainly love to hear from you in the comments if you disagree or have another name you'd like to nominate. But he sent this great 97 leaf, which tons of gold shine there. And then how about these Pacific cards from the earlier days of Pacific? This is a 2000 Prism, and it is serial numbered in the bottom corner here to 480. And then to go with it, I don't know what you call this parallel, but it's wild. Has kind of that shimmer effect. Super cool. Here's another one I don't recognize at all. In fact, let's take a look at the back. This is another Pacific card. I think it's Revolution, looks like. But yeah, Pacific was had some really wild and creative shine back in the day. Here's another Revolution. Great stuff. And then we close out with this one here, a Totally Certified. Some type of a red parallel. And this one is also numbered to 39.99. And I love what they did. This is a platinum red, you can see here. I love the stat breakdown on the back of these, where they broke down a player's offensive stats against the other teams in his league. So very creative layout there to break it down from the folks at Pinnacle by team. Not something you see very often, and really like the aesthetics of that. So Austin, thank you so much for thinking of me. Really means a lot that you sent those my way, and I'm glad you enjoyed the cards that I sent you. But more than any of that, I appreciate your friendship, as you know. And then next up, it's been so long, I almost forget who tipped me off to these. I believe it was RJ over at RJ Collect Sets. He let me know about a website that had been spun up that I believe it is called A League Apart. And I'll try to leave a link in the description here to this if I remember to. But basically, the link that RJ sent me, you could go on there and request a free set of 4 cards of barrier breakers is what they called it. So these are right in line with my collecting focus of like the Negro Leagues and former Negro League players and bridge players, things along those lines. And finally, it took probably 3 or 4 months, maybe longer, but I finally got my 4-card set in the mail. These are really neat. A cool design here. You can see the barrier breakers pennant in the upper left and sort of a orange or burnt sienna type border. And we have recent Hall of Fame inductee Dick Allen here. And I'm not going to do, long summaries on these 4 cards. I'm trying to keep today's video a little bit shorter and just kind of get back into the swing of things here. But here's Octavius Catto. He was a ball player all the way back in the 1860s, and I think started a franchise for black ball players in the Philadelphia area. And he played on that franchise, was the captain as well. And infamously, he died at a very young age, I think 32 years old or something, when out there supporting the right to vote, and was tragically killed. So really cool card. Somebody who I did not have represented in my baseball card collection at all. And of course, these are going to be great additions to my Negro League's Z Folio binder that I've been building here at Shoebox Legends headquarters in the background, and that I hope to unveil really, really soon. It's getting close, I promise. Probably more than 80% full now on that 360 card Z Folio. Next up, we have Monet Davis, who is infamous for her Little League World Series appearance back over 10 years ago now. I believe she was the first black female to appear in the Little League World Series. Was really dominating. And I think she got a Topps, like a first pitch, throwing out the first pitch card, something like that back then. But this one's super cool. Love this in the Monarchs jersey. And then lastly, we have Ed Bolden, who I think was like an executive for some of those early Negro Leagues teams as well, if I'm not mistaken. Again, I'm trying to save a lengthy summary on those individuals for another time, maybe when I show off that binder. But RJ, if it was indeed you, I'm fairly certain it was. Thank you for tipping me off. It was really cool to get these in the mailbox by surprise many months later and at no cost. and would highly recommend anyone checking out the website for A League Apart. And I think they even have an exhibition going on in the near future down in the Philadelphia area, if that's something that interests you. So moving on, that's going to be it for kind of the care packages and surprise mailings that I've received recently. But I do have a couple other pickups as well. I have a buyback here, and I showed this off on the episode that I did with Brent, the most recent Ball Card Banter, where I was joined with by Hugo from Signs of the Pastime as well. A great friend of mine. Really enjoyed that episode. And at the very end of it, I showed off this buyback, and I wanted to show this on my channel as well before I get it filed away into the buyback Frankenset. But amazingly, I was able to find a 1965 Topps Joe Morgan and Sonny Jackson rookie card in Topps buyback format. You can see that 65th anniversary stamp there. Just incredible. So this was pack issued all the way back in 1965, bought back by Topps, stamped, and then pack issued again in the 2016 Topps release. So over 50 years later, this card was pulled by a collector from a pack for a second time. And it is one of the most epic rookie cards that I've been able to find in buyback format. Arguably, and in my opinion, the best second baseman of all time. I also really dig the Houston Colt 45s, that short-lived franchise as well. So that one is headed for the buyback Frankenset. It'll be on the second page in slot 16. But before I filed it away, I wanted to get it a little bit of airtime here on the channel. Let's see what else we have laying around here. I got one more from the collab that I did with Dylan, Adam, and Dean recently, in case you didn't see that. And again, just to document it here on my own channel. One of my favorite pre-war sets, probably my favorite pre-war set, the Cracker Jack release from 1914 and 1915. I have this beautiful Smokey Joe Wood from the 1915 release. It is a PSA 1. It is well loved. It doesn't really show up too well, but there's kind of a surface crease or maybe a full crease through the middle here. The corners are rough. There's, caramel stains on this thing. It's just really, really well loved. But to me, that's kind of what I expect a card to look like after, more than 100 years of existence. And I really dig these. I love when they have some age and wear on them. And I don't think any of the wear on this card really detracts much from that beautiful background, the beautiful photo, and somebody who is just a fascinating personality in Red Sox history as well. Very dominating pitcher at times. In fact, the year that this card was issued, 1915, he led the league in ERA and won a World Series with Boston as a pitcher. Later in his career, he would convert to a hitter due to an injury that he suffered. So kind of a cool two-way player as well, a la Babe Ruth and Shohei Ohtani. Not as well known as those guys, of course, but happy to have this one. It is the best Cracker Jack card that I own, and wanted to get it a little bit of airtime on the channel as well. And then we'll close out with a new pickup, and this is a very interesting one. So I've been into Willie Mays of late, just read a great biography on him, or did the audiobook version of it rather, and it just made me admire the man even more. I've always liked him, and I've got quite a few Mays cards, but I'm trying to fill in some gaps and kind of bolster my Willie Mays collection a little bit. And I had somewhat of a conundrum with one particular card, and that is his 1961 Topps release. And the reason being, it has, in my mind, the worst photograph that has ever graced a Willie Mays card. Topps really did him dirty back in 1961. It's kind of an ugly, capless photo, just not very appealing at all. But I'd like to get a copy of the card just to kind of keep a little run of him going. And so I faced the dilemma, I don't really want to spend a significant amount of money on a card that I don't really enjoy the look of. But recently, over this past winter and into this year, something surfaced that kind of solved the problem for me. And it's a buyback card. So check this out. This card just called to me. I ignored it for months because, again, I really don't like this photo. But the more I thought about it, the more it spoke to me. The price just continued to drop on this. So this is a 2024 Topps Holiday Advent Calendar buyback. I've spoken about these before and shown off numerous copies in the past, but you would get 2 of these individually wrapped in the Advent Calendar last holiday season, and they could be from all different eras of Topps baseball past, but they were all star players, and some of them were actually stamped 1-of-1s, and that is the case for this Willie Mays. So check out, you've got the 2024 Advent stamp there on this buyback, and on the back of it, It is actually a stamped 1/1. Now, I understand it's gimmicky. I understand the artificial scarcity. And this actually isn't even a full card. This is like most of a 61 Willie Mays because there's this weird like cutting defect that occurred in the top left here. I don't know how well you can make it out, but there's a little bit of the card missing there. But to me, as a buyback collector and someone who loves buybacks, this was my bridge to acquiring the 61 Willie Mays. Still don't love the look of the card, but I admire the hell out of Willie Mays, and I love collecting these buybacks. The opportunity to add this, a 1/1 Willie Mays playing era buyback to my collection, slabbed up and looking great here. It was just too good to pass up. So when the price on this finally dropped to a range that I was comfortable with, well below what even qualifies for eBay authentication, finally bit the bullet, and happy to add this one to my extensive and ever-growing buyback collection. So we're going to call it there. Coming up on 16 minutes or just over 16 minutes here. I really appreciate all of you who checked in to check this out, especially after my extended absence. You can expect some more regular videos from me going forward here. Happy to be back at it. I hope all of you are enjoying the hobby as well during these crazy times. And until next time, just take care. See ya.